Before we start today, I have to tell you about State Farm agent Brian McDevitt. A lot of our listeners have gone to him for all their insurance needs. He's been very helpful in getting them the coverage they deserve. There's no games with Brian. He's just here to help and make sure you feel safe. So if you have insurance needs and you haven't called him yet, what are you waiting for? Dial up the number, 630-796-2662. That's 630-796-2662. Or find him online at ryanismyagent.com. That's ryanismyagent.com. And make sure to mention Sports Talk Chicago. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. I want to start today with this. We have to learn how to temper expectations. We always want so much. We want more. We want the best. But oftentimes, it doesn't happen that way. Cubs fans wanted a couple of World Series. They wanted a dynasty. They only got one. They were disappointed. Hey, Bryant, Baez, Rizzo, they'll be good, and now they're not even on the team. Bears fans, 1985, they wanted more than one Super Bowl. 86, they were the best team in football, couldn't win. One Super Bowl, that's it, and the team disbanded soon after. If you always expect the best, chances are you're going to be disappointed. Versus realizing and living in reality, understanding that it's pretty damn hard to demand the best and get it every single time. A lot of Bears fans are excited about Week 1 against Los Angeles in Los Angeles Sunday night. I am too. Can't wait to watch Bears football. Can't wait for the season to come back, but I want to warn you all today. Don't be surprised when the game doesn't go the way you want it to go. I'm not just talking about Andy Dalton, Justin Fields, and the quarterback controversy. I'm talking about the team in general. Everyone needs to understand who the Bears are facing on Sunday. This is not Cincinnati or Jacksonville, New York. No. It's the Los Angeles Rams. For those who don't know, Rams are a pretty damn good team. Actually, they're a Super Bowl contender this year. Even with the loss of Cam Akers in the backfield, they still have Darrell Henderson and Sony Michel. Their wide receiving corps, solid. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Deshaun Jackson. And of course, we can't forget about Matthew Stafford, who I believe is a legitimate MVP candidate today. Oh, and by the way, their defense, not bad at all. Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, former Bear, Jalen Ramsey. This is the definition of a stacked team. Plain and simple. And to me, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. It could be Dalton, could be Fields, could be Foles. The Bears are going to have a tough go on Sunday night to not only contain this pass offense, but then defeat the defense. You're a quarterback with a beat-up O-line. How could you avoid Leonard Floyd or Aaron Donald? You throw the ball downfield. You think Jalen Ramsey's going to let you get away with a big pass? No. You're a Bears fan. I wouldn't be expecting the best on Sunday. Plain and simple. That's not a knock on the Bears or saying, oh, I'm not a fan. I don't want them to win. It's just reality. The reality is the Bears are not better than Los Angeles by any stretch, and it's really going to take a miracle for them to win on primetime, on Sunday, against, again, Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay, too, the head coach. I will say this, though. The Bears' offensive line actually looks better than it did early on. The inside part is great. James Daniels, Sam Mustipher, Cody Whitehair. That is not a bad internal offensive line. Their issue is going to be the outside. German Ifedi, Jason Peters. When you have good edge rush, especially from Aaron Donald or Leonard Floyd, it's going to be hell for that quarterback. It's going to be hell for Andy Dalton to avoid the rush. That's the problem. The internal part of the offensive line I like. I think it's serviceable, at least. But the edge rush is really going to kill the Bears on Sunday. Run game's going to be tough. You can't get those edges. I don't know how David Montgomery's going to run for big yards. Or Damian Williams. Even Khalil Herbert, too. The one thing I want to see, though, is how Andy Dalton does with everybody in the game. I know that last preseason performance was horrible. Just horrible. Forgettable despite the one touchdown throw to Rodney Adams. That was it. And that saved Dalton and his line for the day. I want to see how he does when he has Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney, Marquise Goodwin. And he has the full starting O-line in front of him. I'm not saying Andy Dalton's a great quarterback, but he is serviceable. Maybe he could put together a good performance. But as I've talked to people around the league and people in league circles, I've heard the same resounding opinion from everybody. Expect Justin Fields to take a step on the field. May not be the starting quarterback, may not come in for Dalton, but I do believe there's going to be a Justin Fields package on Sunday. Similar to Lamar Jackson, his rookie year. You remember it was Joe Flacco and Lamar Jackson, and Flacco started, did okay. Jackson came in and cleaned things up. But Jackson played game one. There was a Lamar Jackson package. He threw the ball a couple of times, ran, even lined up at times as a wide receiver. Jalen Hurts. That happened last year, too, in Philadelphia. It's becoming more and more common, and we know Justin Fields is so athletic. He could run, he could pass. Well, I'm sure he could catch, even if they wanted to do that. I expect him to get valuable minutes. I don't know how long he's going to play. I don't know if he's even going to touch the football. But I do expect him to be on the field at some point on Sunday. Tell you one thing, that'll throw up the defense. Having two quarterbacks in, and not knowing what Justin Fields is going to do, he will play. I'm telling you right now, he will be in the game at some point. And he's going to do something. I expect some designed RPOs for Justin Fields. Maybe even a chance to throw the ball. I could see it. As I've said many a time before, there are some things I'm looking forward to for this Bears team. I want to see David Montgomery have a 1,000-yard season. I want to see Justin Fields come into his own as a quarterback. Love to see Andy Dalton, at this stage in his career, maybe put up a productive season. And I really want to see this O-line protect their quarterbacks. Not to mention, by the way, the defense, which is aging. There are a lot of question marks for this Bears team. A lot of things I'm curious about. I mean, this could determine their future, in a sense. I want to know if they're sustainable. Can this team win games? Do they have the potential? Is there any potential there to win games for 3 or 4 years under Justin Fields? Or is this it? I just want to see how it plays out. I'm unsure of a lot of things for this team. Nothing is definite. So the general rule of thumb, when you have so many question marks, don't expect to win. I really believe it's going to be a pass-heavy game for Los Angeles. I believe they're going to pass the ball more than they run. Not only because Cam Akers is hurt, but because you have a brand new quarterback who is very good in his own right in Matthew Stafford. And a new offense with Sean McVay. We saw what McVay did with Jared Goff, who, by the way, sucks. Really a pure system quarterback. Can't even imagine what he's going to do with Matthew Stafford, who actually has talent. I'm thinking Stafford throws the ball around 30 to 35 times. That's a conservative estimate, too. I don't see them running the football too much. Cam Akers is hurt, who was supposed to be their big guy, and Darrell Henderson is unproven. He had a couple of good games last year, but Akers took the job from him easily. They signed Sony Michel, who was cut by the Patriots. They don't have a run game. They do not have a formidable run game. That's going to help the Bears out. The Bears will know and brace for the pass more often. But still, if you have Matthew Stafford and you have Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Deshaun Jackson, deep threat, could be a problem for the Bears secondary. And right now, you have starting Jalen Johnson, Deshaun Gibson, Eddie Jackson, and Kendall Vildor. Not horrible. Could be better, but not horrible. The problem is the second string. Artie Burns, DeAndre Houston Carson, Deion Bush, Duke Shelley. It's not going to work. I really think they're going to have a big problem containing Woods, Kupp, Jackson, Tyler Higbee, tight end. That's what scares me. And you're facing Sean McVay. He is an offensive guru, to his credit. You know, some people like to give him hate because, number one, a Super Bowl, made it couldn't win. Never had a good quarterback. He made Jared Goff look outstanding. Jared Goff rookie year. Look it up. Horrible under Jeff Fisher. And I know Jeff Fisher, old school coach, but nevertheless, he was nothing until McVay got there. Jared Goff. Watch, you'll see in Detroit this year when the Bears face him, you'll see his issues on full swing. You'll know, oh my gosh, this guy's not a good quarterback. He was good. He was propped up by the team around him and by Sean McVay. That's why I keep saying, can you imagine Matthew Stafford in this offense? Stafford actually threw for 5,000 yards in Detroit and had nobody. Can you imagine now, hey, we're giving you 3 great wide receivers, good tight end, decent enough run game if Akers was healthy, and oh yeah, a great offensive-minded coach who worked wonders with what should have been a bust of a pick. I'm expecting at least 350 passing yards from Matthew Stafford and a Rams win. I hope it won't be a blowout. I could see it going that way, though. I highly doubt, by the way, Justin Fields comes in to play quarterback. Just want to make sure that's out there, too. And if I'm wrong, come at me. But I really don't see Fields coming in to start. The Bears promised Andy Dalton at least 1 or 2 starts, to my knowledge. He's going to play. Even if he sucks, he's going to play. Like him or not, Mitch Trubisky got 2 starts last year. He did. Change was made in Game 3. So he got 2 starts, and they won those games, too, the Bears. So I do believe Andy Dalton will get his time here. It's a matter of him making the most of the situation. To his credit, he knows Justin Fields is right behind him. He's not stupid. And he knows everybody wants Justin Fields and not him. At least he's aware of the situation, unlike Nick Foles. But he's going to have some issues against this Rams defense. Can't run, not mobile. Going to be a problem when Aaron Donald bears down on him. Going to be a problem when the edge rush kicks in and those parts of the O-line can't help him. Main point, don't expect a great game from the Bears. I'd love to see him win. I'd love to see an upset, but just think about the storyline here, too. First game in a new stadium, Sunday Night Football. Rookie quarterback on the bench. Oh, that's right, you're facing Los Angeles, too, who has a brand new quarterback, MVP candidate, in that right. Great coach, good defense, great wide receiving core, too. And I know this too. If the Bears win with Andy Dalton, if they overcome all of that and win, they overcome a potential MVP quarterback. Good defense. Good edge rush. Great head coach. Everyone's going to be pissed anyway. Why isn't Justin Fields coming in? This only validates Andy Dalton. What difference does it make? You're all going to be pissed regardless of what happens. If the Bears lose, it's going to be, hey, put in Justin Fields now, and then you're going to be mad when Nagy doesn't do it. If they win, oh no, Andy Dalton's staying in forever now. So no one's going to be pleased by the end result, no matter what it is. I never thought I'd see that. I mean, last year it existed to an extent. We saw Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles. Everyone wanted Mitch to lose so they could pull him out. And they did, even though the Bears won. But this year, it's on a whole new level. To think, who cares who wins? There's still going to be a problem come Monday morning. That's an issue. I know everybody wants Justin Fields. Everybody's clamoring for Justin Fields. But just look at yourself in the mirror for a second. You honestly tell me you're going to be pissed off if the Bears win and they beat Los Angeles, this big upset win on Sunday night? Well, I want Justin Fields to play. Well, that's not what I'm asking you. you're actually going to be pissed off the Bears win and pull off this upset. Everyone's so concerned about Fields, and they're concerned about Matt Nagy's motives, and I'm not a fan of Matt Nagy, but regardless, if they win, you're telling me you're not going to be happy, and you're not going to root for this team. You're going to be pissed off either way. If they lose, you're going to be so pissed. Put in Fields. If they win, oh, this only validates Andy Dalton. What are we going to do? I'm really surprised it's gotten to this point. It's unfortunate. Because this still could be a great year. I'm not saying the Bears are a Super Bowl contender, that they're even going to make the playoffs, but you know what? It could be a competitive season, no less. And as we enter game one, the consensus is, no matter what happens, I'm going to be pissed. Not the way you want to look at it. And if that's what you want to do, then so be it, but I'm not going to be that way. If they actually pull off this upset, which I doubt, but if they do, I'll be the happiest guy in the world. That's not me being a Justin Fields hater. It's called rooting for the team. You know, because it's a team sport, not a me sport. But no, let's root for Justin Fields to come in, root against Andy Dalton, and hope the team sucks. But it'll be better for their future. Can't you just be happy they win? I mean, have we really gotten to a point where we're going to be pissed off either way? Whatever happens in the game, everyone's going to be pissed? What does that tell you about the Bears fan base and about this Bears team? But you're sitting here bracing, no matter what, to get on Twitter and say, oh, I hate this team. Oh, I can't believe this happened. Can't just enjoy the game? Can't just watch the sport and appreciate what happens either way? You have every right to be pissed if the Bears lose, if Andy Dalton throws 2 picks, and you say, bring in Fields. Fine. But if they win, if Andy Dalton has a great game, they beat the Rams Sunday Night Football primetime in front of everybody, and you're still pissed off? That's a you problem. That's a you problem. Not a me problem, not a Bears future problem. That's a you problem. Last time I checked, no matter what, I want the Bears to succeed. And this team has glimpses, has potential to do something this year. Maybe not much, but something. And if that's the way you want to behave and believe, then that's your prerogative, I guess, but I sure as hell am not going to follow that philosophy. That's backwards. To sit down before the game even starts and say, I don't care who wins or who loses, I'm going to be pissed anyway. And you guys call me contrarian. That is contrarian. No matter what happens, I'm mad, and you should be too. What? Come on. Enjoy the game. Be happy football is back. Be happy that if the Bears win, it's a huge upset and a great story. Not, oh, it screws them for the future. Oh, Justin Fields won't come in. Oh, validates Nagy. It's one game. One game will not validate anything. I don't care who you are. We have a whole season to play. So even if the Bears win this game and pull off the upset, it's not time to sound the alarm right away. Getting me impassioned over here because it's just so ridiculous. Some of the things I see on Twitter and other programs. How we're already bracing to be mad, to have rage, to go on Twitter and say this was a joke, to be mad that the Bears won. What world do we live in where we're mad the Bears won? Just ultra surprising and appalling. I don't support that whatsoever. But I really can't wait to see how it plays out. More to come here on Sports Talk Chicago. My interview with Tom Grassi comes up next, so stay tuned.